Ladies and gentlemen, respected judges, teachers, and my fellow debaters, today I stand firmly in support of the motion that governments should censor social media. This is not a call to eliminate freedom, rather it is a call to protect society from the dangers that unrestricted social media poses. We live in a world where a single tweet can spark violence, a single rumor can destroy lives, and a single post can mislead millions. When such enormous power lies in the hands of anyone with a smartphone, responsible oversight becomes essential. Point 1. To prevent the spread of harmful misinformation. Social media is one of the fastest ways to spread false information. During health crises, elections, or national emergencies, misinformation can cause panic, violence, and chaos. Governments censor harmful content for the same reason they regulate medicine, transportation, or broadcasting: public safety. During pandemics, false cures circulated widely, causing deaths. During elections, manipulated posts have influenced voters. Without government oversight, misinformation becomes a weapon against society. Point 2. To protect national security. Social media is increasingly used for terrorism recruitment, foreign interference, and cyber manipulation. Extremist groups use it to spread propaganda. Hostile nations use it to influence elections or destabilize societies. Criminal organizations coordinate activities through encrypted platforms. Government censorship is necessary to block terrorist accounts, remove extremist material, and prevent foreign powers from using social media as a tool of political warfare. A nation cannot remain safe if its digital space is unregulated. Point 3. To protect children and vulnerable groups. Children are exposed to violence, explicit content, cyberbullying, and harmful challenges online. Studies show rising depression and suicide rates linked to social media misuse. Government censorship is required to remove dangerous online challenges, limit harmful ads to minors, stop exploitation and grooming, block explicit or violent content for underage users. Parents cannot fight this battle alone. Tech companies prioritize profit. Only governments can enforce child protections at scale. Point 4. To control hate speech and prevent violence. Hate speech spreads faster on social media than any other medium. It inflames ethnic tension, religious conflict, and political extremism. Governments censor hate speech not to silence opinions, but to prevent violence. Where hate speech spreads unchecked, violence soon follows, as seen in riots, mob attacks, and ethnic clashes fueled by online rumors. Point 5. To ensure accountability of big tech companies. Social media companies are profit-driven corporations, not guardians of democracy or morality. They harvest data, manipulate algorithms, and amplify divisive content because it generates engagement. Government censorship acts as a necessary check to ensure these companies operate responsibly and ethically. Without regulation, tech giants become more powerful than governments. In conclusion, governments should censor social media, not to restrict freedom, but to protect society, to prevent misinformation, safeguard national security, defend children, reduce hate, and hold massive tech companies accountable. Freedom without responsibility leads to chaos. Proper government oversight ensures that social media becomes a tool for progress, not a platform for harm.
Ladies and gentlemen, today I rise to oppose the motion that governments should censor social media. Censorship sounds harmless when framed as protection, but throughout history, censorship has been the first step toward oppression. Social media gives citizens a voice, the power to criticize governments, expose corruption, share ideas, and participate in democracy. Allowing governments to censor that space is handing them the keys to silence opposition. Point 1. Censorship violates freedom of speech. Freedom of speech is a cornerstone of democracy. It allows citizens to speak their minds without fear. Social media is today's public square. Censoring it is equivalent to silencing the people. Once the government begins censoring content, it becomes extremely difficult to control how far it goes. What begins as removing harmful content can quickly become removing criticism, removing dissent, or removing political opposition. No government, no matter how well-intentioned, should have such power. Point 2. Governments cannot be trusted as neutral moderators. Governments have political agendas. They want to stay in power. If given censorship authority, they can use it to silence journalists, remove posts exposing corruption, block opposition political campaigns, and control narratives during elections. Many nations already do this under the disguise of security. Censorship gives governments too much power over information, and power, once granted, is rarely given back. Point 3. Censorship leads to abuse and human rights violations. In many countries, social media censorship has been used to imprison activists, punish protesters, and silence marginalized groups. If citizens cannot criticize injustice or share evidence of abuse online, then injustices continue unchecked. Censorship becomes a tool of oppression rather than protection. Point 4. Education, not censorship, is the real solution. Misinformation, hate speech, and harmful content are real problems, but censorship is the wrong solution. Instead, governments should invest in digital literacy education, teach citizens how to identify fake news, work with platforms to improve algorithms, and promote critical thinking. A society that knows how to analyze information will always be safer than one that is simply shielded from information. Point 5. Censorship damages innovation and free expression. Social media thrives on creativity, debate, and open communication. Censorship discourages innovation and restricts academic, cultural, and political expression. Societies grow when ideas are allowed to compete freely. Restricting ideas restricts progress. In conclusion, governments should not censor social media. It threatens freedom of speech, encourages political abuse, violates human rights, and limits innovation. Instead of censorship, governments should empower citizens with education, transparency, and strong digital literacy. Social media should remain a voice for the people, not a tool controlled by the powerful.
Ladies and gentlemen, to wrap up, we must recognize that social media is powerful, sometimes dangerously so. Without government oversight, misinformation spreads, children are exposed to harm, extremist groups recruit openly, and foreign powers manipulate national politics. Government censorship is not an attack on freedom. It is a shield protecting society from chaos. Free speech is important, but so is public safety. We regulate roads, medicine, banks, and industries for the safety of citizens. Why not social media, a platform that influences millions every second? True freedom requires stability, and stability requires responsible governance. That is why governments must censor harmful content on social media.
Ladies and gentlemen, censorship by government is extremely dangerous. Once the government controls information online, it controls the people. A censored society is not a free society. Social media allows citizens to question leaders, expose wrongdoing, and speak truth to power. This must never be taken away. The solution to misinformation or harmful content is not censorship, but education, transparency, and responsible platform policies. Give government censorship authority today, and tomorrow your opinions may be illegal. Freedom of speech, freedom of thought, and freedom of expression must never be sacrificed in the name of control. That is why government censorship of social media must be rejected.
Please subscribe to our channel, share, like and comment. Also follow and save on Instagram page. Thank you and see you soon in next video.